Hi, my name is Cel, and I'm your host for the SweatNet Be Amazing podcast, where we share stories of amazing women who live in our communities. My hope is that you will feel encouraged and inspired after listening to each episode. Today, I'm so excited. I have Chrystal Rose as my guest. She is an entrepreneur, the creator of Rebellia Clothing, nutrition and body image coach, and host for the Rebel Babe Cave podcast. Welcome to the show, Chrystal.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you here. It's been so much fun to get to know you over the past couple of years. We met through a friend, and we've been a part of No Tribe together. And now I'm honored to be one of your models for Rebellia, and I'm having so much fun doing that. And your clothes, are amazing. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So how did before we kind of jump into like the how and the why, Rebellia came about, what was your body image growing up? Like, what was that for you growing up?
Woo. I didn't really have like crazy bad body image when I was like a younger teen. Just because I was built like my dad, so I was a little stockier. My mom would make comments because she was like, she had those self-proclaimed chicken legs and she loved it. And I just didn't look like her. I wasn't built like her, but I didn't feel like bad about it. Like I generally felt pretty good about my body. It wasn't until I got sent away to a boarding school where, you're away from your family, you're pretty miserable. I mean, it was a really kind of messed up place. And so I gained weight really fast. And in the school, they basically shamed people for gaining weight or having food issues. And so they insisted that you be in recovery for overeating. And so I kind of yo-yoed back and forth through those 4 years of just weighing and measuring my food, no sugar, no flour, and just going through this whole, being shamed when I was off of it. And then finally I was like, I don't need this, but it kind of messed me up, for the future. Like it was not okay to gain weight ever. And you should weigh X amount of pounds. And so throughout my 20s, I was just yo-yo dieting. And it was always something crazy, some shake, some pill, some fad, whatever. I was constantly looking for the magic pill. And no matter how skinny I was never happy with how I looked. And so it was really, really, really bad for a while.
I know that's got to be pretty traumatic, having that kind of experience and then being away from your family and not having that kind of support, and how much that really has, played a role in your life now in what you're doing. It really, to me, kind of brings all the pieces together. Like, okay, like body image, nutrition coach, clothing line that's around fitness and women. Like it's amazing how something so negative, you've now really turned it into something like so positive and so inspiring. So did you exercise a lot as well? Has exercise always been a big thing for you?
It wasn't. I mean, when I was before the school, my mom would do step Reebok and she was like all into like, lifting weights, and she was like this little hottie walking around. And so like I would do it just for like fun. And when I was in school, it was kind of a joke because we had morning activities, which is supposed to be our PE, and we would do things like MTV's The Grind workout. I don't know if
yes, I remember that.
And then like there was like Richard Simmons and like, just stuff like that. I mean, I did a little bit of basketball for a short time period there, just like dabbling and stuff, but I didn't really know what like physical fitness was. I really thought weightlifting was like a boy thing. Like it didn't get in my mind at all as something I should do. And I just thought exercising was running on a treadmill, just running. So anytime I was in my on phase, in my, I'm going to be healthy, I would just go to the gym and I would just run on the treadmill. And I hated it, but I didn't know what else to do. And I eventually found pole fitness at one point and really, really liked it. But aside from that, it was basically the treadmill until I got into like CrossFit and that's really when things started to shift for me.
And cardio, and even for me in my 20s and growing up, like cardio was a thing. Like whether you were taking a step class or it was jazzercise or, you know, you were sweating it out that way, like that was the way that was what we were taught to do.
Yeah.
First of all, like weights wasn't even a thing.
No.
So when did you start weight training?
So I eventually got into CrossFit. I had gotten to the point where I was so sick of gaining and losing and gaining and losing, and I had gotten pretty overweight, and I just was like, all right, I'm done. I need to figure it out, and or maybe I just need to find willpower or something, but I can't keep doing the on and off. And it took me about a full year. I did one last crazy diet and managed to maintain my weight loss for like almost a year. And I was just, you know, my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, and he dragged me into a CrossFit gym. I did like the 30 days foundational stuff, super intimidated by the barbell. And I was like, this is not for me. And then they sent out, like 6 months later, they sent out this newsletter saying that they were launching this new, you know, program. And it was like CrossFit Light and no barbells. It's all just like dumbbells and kettlebells. And so I was like, okay, I have to do something. Like maybe this will work for me. So I got into the gym and I started doing that. I did that for a couple of months, and then I graduated towards the regular CrossFit classes because I saw women on the internet who were lifting with barbells, and they weren't like hulked out, you know, they looked amazing. Like there was this one woman who had thighs kind of like me, and I was like, okay, that's more realistic to me. That's more achievable. And if this chick lifts weights and doesn't look like a dude, I guess I could do that too, right? So that's where I was like, all right, let me learn how to use this barbell, and then I got into it. And then once you start feeling strong, you get hooked.
Yeah, there's something about that. Like the minute you start lifting weights and your body changes, and then all of a sudden you, like you said, you feel strong and you feel empowered, and like you can walk in front of a freaking dumbbell rack with guys around with their weights and be like, whatever, dude, like this is my territory, my turf.
Yeah.
That's like where a lot of my own confidence came from, was just once I started learning the gym and lifting weights and all of that. Yeah, it's super empowering. So I was really intrigued by your story about Rebellia, because this kind of rolls us right into this. You had an experience shopping, and that seems to be what really kind of brought this incredible line that you now have. So share with the audience this moment, because it's really important.
Yeah.
And it's so personal.
You know, it really is, because I had gotten to a place in my life where I was happy with my body finally. And it was weird to be happy with my body, you know, and I worked really, really hard, and I could look in the mirror and feel good about myself. And so when I went shopping, which in the past, you know, unless I was teeny tiny skinny, like it was miserable, you know, and here I spent 2 hours just going from section to section in this one department store, and I had $300 in gift certificates. Like I could have bought a bunch of stuff, and I really wanted to, and nothing fit me. And it was just so disheartening, because I'm like, I have worked so hard, not just to like get my body in the place where it looks good, but like where I feel good about it. And it's all in line. And you're telling me I can't have clothes that are beautiful, that are stylish, and like that fit my body. And I was just so mad. And it was like, I think I spent 2 weeks complaining about it, you know, just like to my other little fitness friends, just being like, this is ridiculous. And I was just so mad. And I'm like, someone needs to do something about it. Like, they're leaving all of us like fitness girls, you know, out. And then it just was kind of like, okay, well, why not me? So
I was going to say, what inspired, so you this inspired the actual, you know, line of clothing, but what inspired the name? Like, where did Rebellia come from?
So Rebellia, to me, it just feels like, you know, I mean, even now still, lifting weights for women is like a rebellious act, you know. It says, I am strong and I'm not conforming to your, you know, to society's way, you know, what society says. And I just felt like, you know, is rebellious, and let's throw an A to make it for, you know, for women. So we called it Rebellia. And I don't know, it's just funny how it just kind of popped in my head.
Well, I can say firsthand, just from every piece of clothing over the past year that I've put on is incredible. Like, it fits, and it's crazy because I'm like you, going to the stores and trying things on, and like nothing ever fits as far as length. And then it's like, well, it'll fit at my legs, but not my waist. And there's all these different just struggles, especially with jeans. And it's been awesome just to be able to like show up and I put them on. I'm like, holy cow, like the stretch in the denim, amazing, you know, or the tops that
and they're not like painted on either. It's
no.
Like, I honestly, you know, like we don't create the clothes ourselves. We want to get to a point where we can do that, but you know, we curate everything, and I touch and I feel everything. And if something doesn't work on me, I don't move it forward.
Well, you can definitely see that there's like, you take this to heart, and this is your passion, and it's seen like just in the clothing itself, but it's even seen online in your community. You have a tremendous community and following, and it just makes it that much more of a unique experience. And do you feel like the women that are a part of it, do you feel like it's more than just them finding clothes that fit, or they like the shop? Like, is there more to it, do you feel like?
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, like I never wanted to just sell clothes before Rebellia. You know, I had a marketing company, so I was like really into, you know, I worked with a ton of women promo models, and I really prided myself on being a great boss and a leader, and, you know, being diplomatic and all that. And then I also co-owned a women's magazine, and it was self-empowerment for women. And I just feel like, you know, you can try to empower women all day, but to help them empower themselves is just, it's incredible. And so it was like being able to take the things that I know that I'm good at and the things that I love, and being able to put them all into one business. So I didn't just want it to be like, hey guys, shop, hey guys, buy this. You know, I wanted to be like a real community and a sisterhood. And so much of what is lacking out there, and just like a fun place to be and to hang out. And I wanted to like drip that self-love and that, you know, self-empowerment on these women, so that they can, you know, in turn transform. And you get to see that. You know, I have girls that from the very beginning were supporting us or shopping with us, and now, I mean, you can hardly recognize them. They are just like these incredible little like lights. It's such an honor to be able to do that, and to see that, to witness it.
And that's such a cool part of your story, and it's such a cool way to bring women together in their shopping.
I love it. I mean,
looking for clothes. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it makes the job, like, it makes it worth it. You know, like I never really wanted to own a boutique. I wasn't like a stylish person. I wasn't obsessed with fashion. You know, that's the real hard part for me. But getting to, you know, spend every single day with these women who have become dear, dear friends of mine is just like the best job ever.
Well, you're a joy to work with and to work for, in the sense of being one of the models on your team. And you inspire me, and I know that you inspire so many women. And I just think it's incredible what you're doing, and your journey truly is amazing. And that's why it was so important to share that this isn't just a clothing brand. Like, there's so much more to it. It's a lot deeper than that. And to me, that's so powerful, and it can impact our community and our world. So really appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I know you've got other projects going on, or you have, like, what's next? Like, what do you have? What's the next thing that you're working on?
So I am in the midst of, I've been nutrition coaching for a couple of years now. I've been interested in it for about 4. I've been officially coaching for 2. Then I've always just done kind of like just a small one-on-one thing. And I decided this year that I would grow it and turn it into not a one-on-one thing, because I don't have that much time. But I wanted to reach as many women as possible, especially women who own businesses, women who are outside of the fitness world, who may not know what a macro is, you know. And I wanted to make my diet, which is flexible dieting, no restrictions, so much freedom. I wanted to make that accessible to just like the everyday busy woman. And I like finally figured out how to do that. And so I'm kind of in the process of rolling that out. And I'm also in this certification program that it's like a life coaching certification, but it also has a focus. It's a focus on health and wellness and body image and disordered eating. And I really want to help women get to the root of their problems, not just like try to put a band-aid on it by changing their behavior or changing your mindset, you know, because like my coach says, mindset work only works when you're working on it. And we have to really get to the core and change our belief system. And so I am so excited to be able to like really take that work into what I do when I am done with my certification. So I will be doing this for a long time. You know, I really think my life's work is about helping women feel good about themselves and helping them feel beautiful and not on a surface level, like really at their core.
And we so need more of that. There's so much more of that. And you're every bit, everything that you're doing, it's not only something that you say, it's something that you do. It's seen in your work. Anybody that's met you or knows you sees that. And it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
So my last thing I want to ask you before we go is, is there a song, a quote, like what is it that is like your jam? Like before you go in and train, like if you're going to go in and work out or you're going to go in and do something, what for you is that?
My playlist, I listen to a lot of EDM music. So if I need to kind of like disassociate from my body in a workout, which I do often, I like to put on, you know, kind of more of that like EDM music. And then also Britney Work Bitch. That is kind of like, I start off almost every single like hard workout with that song because it just pumps me up, you know? It's like, you want all this stuff, you better work.
Yes, you better work for it.
Yeah.
Love it. I think music is so powerful, and I know for me, like I have certain songs that like they're on every playlist. Like it's not just one playlist; that one song is on every single one. So I love that. And mine right now is Purple Hat. I don't know if you've heard that one, but that's like one of my favorites, just from the beat side. Well, I so appreciate you being on today and sharing your heart and sharing what you do. And again, you're such an inspiration to so many. So thank you for taking time today. Thank you for all joining us and tuning into the SweatNet Be Amazing podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to like it, share it, send it to your friends. You can find more information about SweatNet on sweatnet.com. You can find more information about me by following me on Cel at Cel Smart. And you can also follow Chrystal. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Xtalrose. It's XTALROSE. You can also follow Rebellia at Rebellia Clothing, and it's rebelliaclothing.com and crystalrose.com. Pretty easy to find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this podcast, please like it and share it with other women in your life. For more information about SweatNet, just go to sweatnet.com, or you can follow them on Instagram at SweatNet and at SweatNet Charlotte. You can follow me personally on Instagram at Cel Smart. Stay tuned for next week's episode of the SweatNet Be Amazing podcast.